Radiant Pokemon were introduced in the Astral Radiance expansion. These cards are worth 1 prize and feature very powerful attacks or abilities, and sometimes both. They're so powerful that you can only have 1 Radiant Pokemon in your deck total. So in this video, we're going to go over some of the best Radiant Pokemon. And at number 10, we have Radiant Venusaur from the Pokemon Go mini set. This card has a massive 150 HP and the ability Sunny Bloom, which allows you to draw until you have 4 cards in your hand at the end of your turn. It also has the attack Pollen Hazard, which costs 2 grass and 1 colorless energy to do 90 damage and poisons, burns, and confuses your opponent's active Pokemon. Now, the ability Sunny Bloom is really unique in Pokemon, as we don't see too many cards that activate at the end of the turn. This ability is beneficial in decks that always want to have cards in hand. An example of this is the Durant deck that recently made the top 4 of the Brisbane Regional Championships. The deck's primary goal is to use Durant's attack Devour, which allows you to discard cards from the top of your opponent's deck equal to the number of Durants you have in play. You use the card Peony to search for trainers at the cost of discarding your hand. Having Radiant Venusaur on your bench after using Peony allows you to draw more cards after discarding all the cards from your hand to play it. And this card is just the tip of the iceberg in the terms of Radiant Pokemon. And at number 9, we have Radiant Jirachi from the Silver Tempest expansion. This card has a minuscule 90 HP, but has a powerful ability and good attack. Its ability, Entrusted Wishes, allows you to search your deck for 3 cards if Radiant Jirachi is knocked out by damage from an attack while it's in the active spot. This ability is incredible because it forces your opponent to use cards such as Boss's Order or Cross Switcher to bring up one of your other bench Pokemon to go around the Radiant Jirachi if they don't want you to be able to search for 3 cards. This card also has the attack Astral Misfortune, which costs 2 colorless energy, allows you to flip 2 coins, and if you flip 2 heads, your opponent's active Pokemon is knocked out. This attack can be excellent in desperate situations, but is risky because it requires 2 coin flips and 2 head flips. Overall, this card can be good in some decks that can't make use of some of the other Radiant Pokemon on this list. And at number 8, we have Radiant Tsareena. This card was released alongside Radiant Jirachi in the Silver Tempest expansion. It has 140 HP and is Grass type. Its ability, Elegant Heal, allows you to heal 20 damage from all of your Pokemon once per turn. This ability is similar to the item card Freshwater Set, which basically does the same thing as its ability. This ability can be beneficial against decks that can spread damage, such as the Lost Box deck, which focuses on using Sableye from Lost Origin to set up damage counters on your board. Sableye has the attack Lost Mine, which allows you to place 12 damage counters on your opponent's board in any way you like, but only if you have 10 cards in the Lost Zone. Radiant Tsareena forces anyone trying to set up damage counters with Sableye to take into account the healing that this ability provides. And Radiant Tsareena was recently played in a control deck to heal more damage off of Mewtwo v Union. And at number 7, we have Radiant Alakazam. This card is also from the Silver Tempest expansion and has a unique ability. Its ability, Painful Spoon, allows you to move up to 2 damage counters from one of your opponent's Pokemon to another one of their Pokemon. This ability lets you move extra damage counters that might be wasted to another Pokemon to set up for future knockouts. For example, you can use the ability to move damage from another one of their Pokemon to their active one in order to take a knockout. In combination with Scoop Up Net, you can reuse its ability to move even more damage counters around the board. This card recently saw success at the Toronto Regional Championship in an Articuno deck. The main focus of the deck was to use Articuno's Wild Freeze attack to paralyze your opponent's active Pokemon while doing 50 damage to yourself in combination with Emergency Jelly and Radiant Alakazam to create an infinite lock. You were able to do this by using Radiant Alakazam with Inteleon to take knockouts during your turn and then paralyze the new actives using Articuno. Emergency Jelly heals 120 damage if the Pokemon it's attached to has 30 or fewer HP remaining in between turns. After attacking twice with Articuno's Wild Freeze, Emergency Jelly will activate and heal you. So, Radiant Alakazam's unique ability to manipulate damage counters makes it one of the best Radiant Pokemon. And at number 6, we have Radiant Blastoise from the Pokemon Go mini set. Released alongside Radiant Venusaur, this card has a very different ability. Its ability Pump Shot allows you to discard 1 water energy to place 2 damage counters on one of your opponent's Pokemon in play. This ability is very similar to Inteleon's Quick Shooting, which also places 2 damage counters on one of your opponent's Pokemon. But you don't need to discard an energy to use Inteleon's ability. Using both Inteleon and Radiant Blastoise can help set out knockouts for Medicham V. Medicham V has an attack called Yoga Loop, which allows you to place 2 damage counters on a Pokemon, and if you take a knockout, you get to take another turn. This can be done on many popular Pokemon in the format that have 60 HP, such as Sobble or Dunsparce. This combo allows you to get the extra turn, which can sometimes be game-winning. And at the number 5 spot, we have Radiant Heatran from the Astral Radiance expansion. This card has 106 HP and can do massive amounts of damage with its Raging Blast attack, which costs 1 fire and 2 colorless energy. The attack does 70 damage times the number of damage counters on Radiant Heatran. With 160 HP, you can have a maximum of 150 damage on it, letting you do 1050 damage. Realistically, with 5 damage counters on Radiant Heatran, you can knock out everything in the standard format. You can get damage counters on Radiant Heatran using the Stadium Magma Basin. This stadium allows you to attach a fire energy from your discard pile to a bench fire Pokemon and put 2 damage counters on it. So not only does Magma Basin help you get energies onto Radiant Heatran, but it also gives it damage counters to boost its attack. And at number 4, we have Radiant Hawlucha, also from the Astral Radiance expansion. This card has 90 HP, is a fighting type, and has the ability Big Match, which, as long as Radiant Hawlucha is on the bench, your Pokemon do 30 more damage to your opponent's VMAX Pokemon. This ability lets cards that weren't able to hit over 300 damage do enough damage to knock out VMAX Pokemon. Cards such as Ice Rider Clarax and Zorrock V-Star were able to benefit from Radiant Hawlucha's ability to be able to do enough damage to knock out other V-Star Pokemon. You can also combine this with Choice Belt to deal an extra 60 damage to your opponent's VMAX Pokemon. And at number 3, we have Radiant Gardevoir from the Lost Origins expansion. This Psychic-type Pokemon has the ability Loving Veil, which reduces all damage done to your Pokemon by 20 if the attacking Pokemon is a Pokemon V. This can be extremely useful in combination with the cards such as V-Guard Energy, which reduces the damage the Pokemon the energy is attached to by 30 from your opponent's Pokemon V, and Big Charm, which gives the Pokemon attached to an extra 30 HP, which makes it even harder for your opponent to knock out your Pokemon. Radiant Gardevoir saw major success in 2 regional championship-winning deck lists this season. The first was the Arceus V-Star Hisuian Goodra V-Star deck that won the Salt Lake City Regional Championship. The deck focused on setting up Hisuian Goodra V-Star and healing it constantly with cards such as Hyper Potion, which healed for 120 damage at the cost of discarding 2 energy from the Pokemon you healed, and Crystal Cave, which healed 30 damage from your Dragon or Metal Pokemon once per turn. Hisuian's attack Rolling Iron did 200 damage for 1 Water, 1 Metal, and 1 Colorless energy, and reduced all incoming damage by 80 during your opponent's next turn. Combined with Radiant Gardevoir, you were reducing damage by 100 and healing, which made it very difficult to knock out Hisuian. The second time Radiant Gardevoir was in a regional winning deck was in the Toronto Regional Championships. It was played alongside Mewtwo V Union to reduce all damage done to it so that you could heal all of the damage off of Mewtwo V Union Super Generation, which allows you to heal 200 damage off of itself. As long as it has 200 or less damage on it, you were able to heal it all each turn. With 2 regional wins, this card is one of the best Radiant Pokemon we have here and easily makes it into the higher echelon of this list. And at number 2, we have Radiant Charizard. This card was very popular amongst collectors and players alike. It had a nice 106 HP, a fantastic ability, and a great attack. Its ability, Excited Heat, reduces the cost of this Pokemon's attack by 1 colorless energy for each prize card your opponent has taken. This is very strong in combination with Radiant Charizard's attack, Combustion Blast, which costs 1 fire and 4 colorless energy and does 250 damage, but you cannot use it again during your next turn. As your opponent takes prize cards, it becomes easier and easier to attack with the Radiant Charizard. If you attach a Choice Belt to Charizard, you do 280 damage, which is the perfect number to knock out V-Star Pokemon such as Origin Form Palkia V-Star or Lugia V-Star. Furthermore, this card is very easy to put into decks, as once your opponent has taken 4 prize cards, all it takes to attack is a single fire energy. Having such a strong attack that costs so little is the reason this card is so high on this list. And finally, at the number 1 spot, we have Radiant Greninja from the Astral Radiance expansion. Since this card was released, people have thought it was insane because of its fantastic ability and incredible attack. Its ability, Concealed Cards, lets you discard 1 energy card from your hand to draw 2 cards. This is highly versatile, and can be played in any deck that might not have a use for the other Radiant Pokemon on this list. It also has an extremely powerful attack, Moonlight Shuriken, which costs 2 water and a colorless energy and does 90 damage to 2 of your opponent's bench Pokemon, but requires you to discard all 2 energies attached to Radiant Greninja. Now, getting the energy on Radiant Greninja is mainly done using Origin Form Palkia V-Star and its Star Portal ability, which allows you to attach up to 3 water energy from your discard pile to your water Pokemon in any way you like. Another way players fuel its ability is with Mirage Gate, which allows you to search your deck for 2 different types of basic energies and attach them to your Pokemon in any way you like, as long as you have 7 cards in the Lost Zone. This attack is especially useful to knock out low HP Pokemon or to soften up Pokemon with higher HP. This card's insane versatility and incredible attack is the reason it's easily the best Radiant Pokemon in the game. Alright, and that's the video. Are there any other Radiant Pokemon you think we may have missed, or have any other ideas for future videos similar to this one? If so, please let us know down in the comments below.